This is the femur, this is the tibia. So this is called a hinge joint. A joint whereby response of a cockroach away from a source of light can be described as. Now, number one is movement of animals in response to things are called taxism or taxis, so to say, tactic movements. Now, so this taxism, if you are moving towards, whether taxism, any of the responses we have to towards stimulus. If you are moving towards that stimulus, let's say this is light here, you are moving towards the light, we call that positive taxism. All right, and if you are moving away from it, we call it negative. Either it doesn't apply to taxism alone, whether it is tropic movement or tactic movement like we have here. So the answer here, because it's moving away from light, is called negative phototaxism. So the B is the answer. It's negative because it's moving away from the stimulus. So if it was moving towards it, we call it positive. Bear in mind that this taxism is divided into different types. So it's a photo to us, like we have chemotaxism, which means based on chemicals. So we have different types of this. All right, so the answer is B. So this is what we have here. These are insects moving towards light. So this one is going to be what? Positive, because they're moving towards the light bulb there. All right, moving on. So it says here, the vascular tissue in higher plants are responsible for what? Vascular tissue majorly means your xylem and your phlegm. All right, so xylem and phlegm are the ones that does the transporting of substances, and they transport food and water. Which one transport the food? That phlegm, I mean to say. Phlegm transport the manufactured food, while xylem transport minerals and water. So it's going to transport dissolved minerals and water from the soil. So this is what we have here. So this is phlegm. This is phlegm or phloem, as some people call it, and it's called xylem. So xylem is the one transporting water and mineral salts, while this, you can see, transport of sucrose by a process called translocation, so to say. And this is companion cells. This is your sieve tube, the sieve plate, and all of those things. Never mind about this for the moment, but the point is, this is your xylem transporting water and mineral salt from the soil, dissolved mineral salt, and this is your phlegm transporting food, which is in form of sucrose. Pay attention here that when at the end of photosynthesis, what you form is glucose. However, the plant will only transport the sugar, and sugar is transported in the form of sucrose in plant's body. People are probably imagine it is just transported as glucose. No, it is formed as glucose at the end of photosynthesis, but it is transported as sucrose and stored as starch. That's the point to remember. Formed as glucose, transported as sucrose, and stored as starch. All right, moving on. The joint between the femur and the tibia is known as the femur and the tibia. Now, okay, well, that should be a hinge joint. Hinge. Let me show you that in a moment. Of course, you know that this is the femur, this is the tibia. So this is called a hinge joint, a joint whereby there is movement to a direction, while the other direction there's no movement. For example, I could do like this. Now this is hinge joint because I can move towards like this, but moving like this, I can't move beyond this. No matter how flexible someone is, if you go beyond that angle, you're going to, that hinge, you're going to break. Now see, let me show you this. Can you imagine? This is, so this
can move this way and that way. But if you try to move it backwards, it's going to break. It's going to snap off. So that's the reason why it's called hinge joints. So here are other types of joints which I will advise you to probably pause the video here to quickly see what they look like and where they are found. Of course, you can see the ball and socket, which is found in the shoulder, and also here too in the hip, as it were. Which of the following scenario is an example of cohesion? Cohesion really means when the water molecules are attached to each other. Let me show you what that means now. If I've taken you on transpiration before, you're going to see that when there's transpiration stream, as water is moving along the xylem, so water is attached to water molecule by cohesion, while it is attached to the wall of the xylem by cohesion. So by adhesion, please. It's attached to the wall of the xylem by adhesion, and is attached to each other by cohesion. All right. So it now says here, water molecules stay on the tip of a pin needle. No. Water sticks to the wall of the blood vessels. No. Water molecules stick to one another and form a bead. That's the answer. Just like you have here, water molecules sticks to one another like that. That's what cohesion means.